Hey, Thomas here with another video for the Artisan Sound channel. And this here is another update on the sound design preparation for West Side Story. We're getting down to the final Tech Week grind here. And I wanted to show you a couple of things that I'm doing here with the cues and snippets. And maybe let's start with a couple of things that I have been having challenges with. And the reason is that I've found some bugs. There are some bugs both in the X32 edit software, which is what we're looking at here right now. And then unfortunately I also found a bug in one of our boards, in the actual mixer, in the actual console. The one that we have on the main stage is a little bit older, and unfortunately it has a bug that's related to the show control and specifically the snippets. So let me show you the bug that's in the X32 edit first. You see here, when you're on the snippets and you see the parameters that are saved with that specific snippet are checked, and then the channels that the parameters apply to are checked. And so when it's all good, it should switch these check marks if you have different parameters selected or different channels selected for the respective snippets. So as you click on a snippet, for example, the mute all snippet, I always apply this only to the channels and only to the mute parameter. And then, for example, this one here is more has more parameters included because I generally save the source and scribble. This is mainly because I like to relabel both the channels according to characters if they are switching characters. You know, sometimes we only have 16 mics on the main stage, so sometimes we have to share a mic between different characters, and so in those cases, I like to relabel the name on the board. So that's this parameter right here, and then it applies to the channels, and I also apply this to the DCA groups because I like to make the DCA groups dynamic so that I always unlock the access to the most relevant channels with just the DCA groups, so that I can basically control the mix, but I can control the mix more efficiently for each scene as needed. And we'll go into that a little bit later in this video as well. So anyway, so all of these here are supposed to have all these check marks checked, and you see when I switch back and forth between mute all, which doesn't have all of these other check marks, and any one of these others, the other check marks all come on, and that's exactly what's supposed to happen. Now, when the bug occurs, then you would click on a snippet that you know has all these check marks checked, but you won't see any of them. And then when you click on one that you know has been selected for this, it blips up. So it's like it shows like this, right? Let's say the mute isn't working, but usually if the problem occurs, then you usually don't see any of the check marks. So when you click on a checkbox that you know is checked because you've selected it with this snippet, and you click on it, then it'll come on briefly but then go off. So that indicates that actually by clicking on it, you have unchecked it, and that is now showing the correct status. But the problem is, I'm not entirely sure what happens if you click save and you don't see the check marks, but they're actually checked. In any case, it's a bug. It's a bug at the very least, it's a bug in the user interface that the correct status of which parameters and channels are checked is not showing in the user interface of the X32 edit software. So that's a pretty big problem. And I haven't really found a good workaround to that, except sometimes if you just reload the app and then reload the show, like right here, import show, then sometimes it fixes that. And actually, as we speak here, let me just, well, let's stick with the, well, actually, I'm going to export the show here. I'm going to create a completely new show for this. Let me actually make a new folder, West Side X32, and I'm going to put today's date on that, like this, new folder. And then in here, I'm going to create a new show right here as West Side. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so related to this issue, I have, if you've watched my other videos, I have kind of developed a system of switching or saving microphone channel settings like this here. So for example, here we have different cast members that play the same role at different shows, and then we also have the same channel that is used by different characters in the same show. And you see, so my system for that is that I save the HA config, which is the main part of that is the preamp gain control for the channel. And then I save the EQ and the gate and compressor settings. And so these three parameters are checked. And then I just check the only one channel, the only channel for which these settings apply. But what I've noticed with that is that in our board on the main stage, this doesn't work reliably. Number one, when I make a change in here and I click save in the edit software, it doesn't get saved properly to the board. And that's a big problem. So it's just been super annoying to deal with that. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to not do this at all. And instead what I'm going to do is use the library function and just store individual channel settings there and make it so that I only change them when I have time to change it. So I won't be able to dynamically change that within a run as I've done on the second stage before. But it's just not going to work reliably in this board because of this bug. All right, so that's those are the two things that I want to show you that I've been having challenges with. So if you have any information about how to improve or how to solve these two bugs that I've just showed you, let me know in the comments, and maybe there is a solution to that. So the other thing, the good news is that again, it's very, very powerful to work with individual configurations of the DCA groups by scene or song. So for example, here in the back alley, this is a scene that leads up to G Officer Krupke, and that is a scene where I needed the configuration of the DCA groups to give me access to the 3 soloists or 4 soloists that are relevant in that song. So that song is structured in a way where Action is the main lead. He's the main soloist in this song, and then there are significant solos by Diesel, A-Rap, and Baby John, and then Snowboy is standing in for Krupke. The reason why I've labeled this for Krupke and Snowboy is that I'm coming from the back alley where at first there is a scene playing between 2 of the jets and the actual Officer Krupke, and then Officer Krupke chases these 2 guys off the stage. The other jets come in, and then Snowboy role plays Krupke within the song G Officer Krupke. So Krupke is not actually part of G Officer Krupke, the song, but Snowboy role plays and kind of stands in for Officer Krupke, and so that's why I put him here at a separate channel. And here are the 4 solos, and then there are actually only 2 jets left that are singing in the ensemble choruses in that song. So that's how I spread this out here. And you see, so we're coming, the previous bigger scene is the procession and nightmare scene. And you see when I go here, the configuration of the DCA groups is completely different, right? I have Tony here, Maria, then Anita and Rosalia, all the other women, then all jets and all sharks separated like this. And this gives me enough control for mixing this scene. The reason for that is that there's not really any solos, so I can just pick out the blend in, have Tony Maria stand out a little bit, then Anita and Rosalia stand out a bit more, and then between jets and sharks we have kind of a sound design difference between how the jets sound and how the sharks sound. So if I have access to these people, larger groups, you see almost everyone is singing here, so I have everyone in there and I have control over the different colors that I need to have control over in the DCA groups. And then when I switch to this DCA configuration, which is set for the song that comes right after this, G of Krupke, I have much more detailed access to the breakdown of the jets. And by comparison, for example, in Cool, right, that's also a jet configuration where I have more access to detailed access to within the jet configuration. And so you see here the breakdown is a little different because there are some women, we put some women into the Cool, some jet girls, and riff is still there. So riff needs to have its own axis, and action is pretty important. And you have two pairs of jets kind of broken out like that. Snowboard is here at the end, and the women are there. So these are some examples for how I break out all the 16 channels into different setups of DCA groups. And again, the purpose is so I can always efficiently control the scene at hand by just mainly working with the DCA groups faders. And that gives me very good control, very powerful control. If I have the layout of the DCA groups optimized, I really don't need anything else in order to make a good, efficient sound design and mix just on the DCA groups. And that is very effective for mixing remotely, so I don't have to sit by the board. I can just sit in the audience with an iPad that remote controls the board, and the page that I'm looking at most of the time is the DCA groups page. And then every now and then I tap into anything else if I need to tweak some other parameters. But it's rare. Usually I'm just in the DCA fader group on the iPad, and I can do this from anywhere in the audience where I have optimal monitoring and I know exactly what it sounds like for the audience. So that's all this. It's been really a great fun production, West Side Story. Yeah, so maybe I'll post some more recordings of me mixing on the iPad once we run the show. That should be pretty interesting to watch part of that. All right, I'm gonna sign off on this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Leave me some comments, like the video if you like it, subscribe to our channel if you're interested in seeing more of these videos, and I'll talk to you soon.